right. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How's
Welcome
everyone doing?
to episode
11.
11.
12-11.
12.
12-11.
We haven't put out a
Because remember last time we were like 11?
11.
Like the
Yeah.
No, Dino was 10.
yeah, we were asking if
Last
it was
week was
11.
11.
No,
It
was
was
it?
10.
Was it?
Ah, you sure?
We're bad at this.
We're bad.
This is 12.
Welcome to the next episode.
Yay!
Right when we ran out of fingers.
right, exactly.
That was it. That's
Yep.
all we had.
Yep.
From
That's
here
it
on
for
out, we're
today's
not
episode.
telling you what
We'll,
episode number it is.
Yeah.
Got
You'll
my
have
shoes
to
on, can't use the toes. But
Figure it out. What are we talking about today,
we
gentlemen?
are going to be talking about autonomous vehicle levels. Well, actually, level 5 specifically.
What does that even mean?
So, level 5.
Well, how about we work our way up to level 5? Talk
I
about.
think we
Well,
should talk about the current inadequacies, but
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Right,
I brought up this
problems
chart.
on the way here.
I
So.
brought
All right, guys. Episode whatever.
Oh,
Oh,
damn it,
Dave,
Dave! Did you
we
just
just did
hit
this.
recording?
Been recording the whole time.
Okay.
All right. think he's funny.
There's levels from 0 to 5. I just want. I brought this chart up, so I want to,
what are we at
You
half now?
don't even know what level 5 means, right?
Yeah, what does that
I
mean?
have a rough idea.
Just
Does
because
it-
I said
hold-
that
hold
2
on.
minutes ago.
Does
Yeah.
any, who has knowledge of autonomous vehicles currently?
I wouldn't consider myself an expert or anything, but I mean, it doesn't mean we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
No, I know. I just.
I have an idea.
Kevin's got an article up. Let's go over
No,
this
I
article.
have a chart.
Oh,
Let me go over my chart
man,
real quick.
this smells delicious.
All right, so Kevin's gonna
There's
kind of quiz us. here.
level
That's what I'm feeling.
0 to 5. Level 0 being no automation, manual control.
I figured that was steam
Human
powered.
performs all all driving tasks, steering, acceleration, braking, etc. Level 1 is driver assistance.
So like a.
So wait a second. I'm
So like
confused.
ABS or
Like that
like
new-
lane control thing.
He said driver assisted.
Driver assistance.
Assistant.
It's
Driver
assisting the driver.
assistance.
I see.
Yes.
So as soon as you get stuff that helps.
The vehicle features a single automated system. For example, cruise control.
Automated. I don't know that I would even consider that automated.
It's speed control. It's
Yeah.
monitoring your speed
Okay.
and controlling
Okay.
the
Okay.
speed.
One whole like one variable or one concept.
That's level
I should
1.
say, right? Yeah.
Level 2, partial automation. Vehicle can perform steering and acceleration. The human still monitors all tasks and can take control at any time.
So like Tesla.
Well, yeah, and everything right now. It's doing like the lane assist
Yep.
and like the dynamic cruise
yeah,
control.
Yeah.
and
Not
stuff
quite.
like
I don't
that.
think
Okay.
that's quite. Yeah. Tesla stuff. Yeah.
Level 3 is conditional automation. So environmental detection capabilities. The vehicle can perform most driving tasks, but human override is still required.
Right,
that's
like
why you're
the
Tesla.
That's
you know
probably
people
about
jump.
Tesla.
Well, not even. There's other things too. Like is in the Volvo. Like if someone jumps out in front of the Volvo, it's supposed
Right.
to stop.
Yep.
I think
Oh,
that
like the
that still
Subarus
qualifies.
have that now too.
Yeah.
And maybe like automatic parallel parking.
Okay.
Right.
So that's kind of.
What?
So that's the conditional.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
conditional.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Level 4 is high automation. The vehicle performs all driving tasks under under specific circumstances. Geofencing is required. Human override is still an option.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're not there yet. Like that, we have less examples of that.
I would say it's probably not quite. That's probably a borderline level 4 right now.
Yeah, I don't. That's not.
Level
Because-
5 shows the character in the picture reading a book with a seatbelt on, and it is full automation. The vehicle performs all driving tasks under all conditions. 0 human attention or interaction is required.
Huh.
Yeah, we definitely are not there.
No.
There are
And I never
want
want to get there, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I agree, but
Yeah.
That sounds scary.
There's been plenty of test vehicles that have done this.
not
Well, sort of.
successfully. Like not completely successfully. They'll do it in like an isolated environment.
No,
but
no,
you
no, no,
can't-
no. There's
Oh.
been vehicles that have been driving around.
It's
cities
only in
and-
certain areas.
Aren't
that-
like all the
Yeah.
Google cars, like the Google Maps cars, aren't those all autonomous
No,
now?
those are people just cruising around.
Okay.
They got the weird
Well, I
dome
thought
on
they
top
had.
doing
I
the
thought
camera
they
stuff.
moved to the autonomous.
So a lot of that
one.
stuff only works in areas that have been mapped really well, have been mapped by independent software and like analytics and things like that. You can't just like even the Teslas right now. You can't just set full autopilot in a city.
Oh no.
Like that just doesn't do that.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It doesn't.
anyways,
Autonomous driving.
that's
is
where we're gonna
weird.
get to. I mean,
Yeah.
we gotta.
There's a lot. Like those, each jump is pretty dramatic.
Oh yeah.
Like going from 4 to 5 is
Oh.
a big deal. There's
Yeah.
so many inputs that a human has on a car. That's why it's taking longer than people think it should. But like, there's a lot of things you take into account, just like motion on the side
I
of the
don't
road.
actually. I don't think it will ever get there until you completely eliminate like all the level 4s
Well,
from
I don't
the
even.
Right.
roads. I mean,
I
you
wouldn't even
can't.
say that. I'd say until we can create a fully existent AI that can make its own decisions.
I think that exists.
Yeah,
But
for
I'm saying
this type of thing, it could exist.
you would have to have either removed any like human assisted vehicles from the road, or have a separate infrastructure for it. So like separate highways for full autonomous stuff, because everything's going to need to talk to each other at that point. It's got to be
weird,
a whole different ball game, I think. So
Or they need to talk to each other.
yeah, that's
to
how they
integrate
rebel.
properly. Like I think at some of the, if you're trying to at traffic distances and stuff like that.
yeah, what if
I
you got
think you
two
need-
cars side by side going the same exact speed, and like they need to like switch lanes and go different directions? Like how they are just going to do this a bunch of times because neither one knows what to do.
I think
They
there's
gotta
a
talk to each
situation
other, right?
where you can tell it, or it can figure out what it needs to do. It needs to do something. It either needs to speed up or slow down. Those are the options, right?
What if they both decide they want to pass each other?
Well, then they want to.
Then they race.
One decides
Then
it
it's a
wants to
race.
slow down.
It's a race.
It's a race.
Oh, we need to figure out how to make them do that.
You're not gonna get
Put
into
AIs in jail?
You're not gonna get an infinite loop of like two vehicles speeding up and slowing down on the highway side by
I
side.
think it's
It just-
very likely you could.
I'm guaranteed
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
happen.
Wouldn't that be something to watch?
I think
Oh
they
man, you just like put some tape over a couple of sensors and set up drag races and normal people's things that are you can just watch from the side of the road.
Like the requirement that vehicles have to talk to each other is
I'm not saying it's a requirement.
It
I
makes
say
it
in
like-
order to get to like a fully autonomous.
no. That would make it completely impossible for that to ever actually be executed on the road.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, like, I think to get full, like, fully, completely 100% safe autonomous driving,
Yeah, take a nap in the seat in the car, whatever. Like
you need
Shut
some
all the
sort of
windows,
integration
like,
like that,
blackout
which is
chase.
also impossible because
Yeah.
I'm going to keep driving my old chip box that is not going to integrate with
Right.
everyone
So that's
else's
why
stuff.
they can't have anything that needs to talk to each other because there's always going to be somebody that doesn't have that.
that's what I'm.
Exactly.
That was my point. I'm just saying I don't think we could ever get to like full like level 5 situation because that's always going to happen.
I
I
disagree.
mean, I would
Unless it's a
wouldn't write
separate
it off- I
infrastructure.
wouldn't write it
I think
off completely.
I think there are
I think that
options
there's- yeah, of course.
in programming where you can have decisions made without talking to other vehicles and get around just fine. I don't like
To the
wave
point
out
where
the
you would
window.
trust it?
I don't wave out the window to the guy next to me and be like, "Hey, I need to get off this exit. Can you like speed up or slow down?"
So question. So
turn signal?
even though it doesn't exist
That's
yet,
called a turn signal.
okay, the car can do that.
So
Right.
even though it doesn't exist yet, if I told you that a car had every sensor, like fastest response time known to man, this thing had the capability to not talk to anything else but drive itself, would you like feel comfortable enough knowing that there's all kinds of other, shitbags on the road to like black out all the windows, take a nap in the
Well,
back,
okay.
and send it on a 6-hour drive?
I think you're taking level 5.
No, that's level.
Beyond-
That's like the top dog.
Level 5 is like sci-fi,
Yeah.
100%.
I think it was like
Yeah.
a Black
You can
Mirror
hop
episode
inside
of
of
this
it.
or something.
We're a long ways away from
Yeah.
level 5.
yeah.
Well,
People
I
think it's
think-
around the corner.
I
It's
think we're a
not.
long ways away from level 5 in a consumer standpoint. I think that we're
Right.
closer from a I guess I would
Like
say
you said, I'm sure it does
military
exist in like an isolated environment. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you could.
Yeah, like a military standpoint, where
Oh,
like,
sure.
yeah, if you run over
Well, think
people's
about-
mailboxes, who cares?
Well, think
Like-
about like even drones. Like
Yeah.
they're pretty autonomous. You have someone that runs a joystick, but that's about it. Like they make the decision
I
to.
wouldn't even call that autonomy. It like
they have autonomous
it
drones.
only
though.
does what you tell it to do.
if it's programmed to do something. You
Well,
can
right.
give it like a coordinate,
You
but that's
can
the
get
same
it,
thing
like,
you do in a
can get
car.
it to like follow something. You
But a
can-
car's not going to just bring you somewhere without you telling it to. It's the same level of thing as a drone.
Yeah.
You have to tell it where to go.
Right. You have to. There has to be some human input.
Things just like decides to bring you to the bar.
Unless it can read your mind. If it reads
Guess
your
I'm going to the bar tonight.
Right, if you hop in and say, you just get in it. Don't say anything. We're like,
Okay,
it
well, okay,
can't just
yeah. I
read
guess
your
we're kind of
mind,
like
but-
meddling in between just like full artificial intelligence and like
Right,
a
it's the-
machine that's doing a job. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
supposed to perform a task.
But I feel like you kind of need a blend of that to get it to be perfect.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
anyways,
it needs to be able to process, a deer hopping in off the side of the road, like
Yeah.
someone moving off their exit
Yeah,
or
without
like
their turn
construction-
signal.
construction
I think,
cones.
I think things are already there.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think you're
BMW
thinking it's further
is
behind than it
there.
is.
Yeah.
I think it's further. It's not as close as.
FYI, we've done zero research on this. We're just
Yeah. This is basically.
there will be
this is
follow up.
100% opinion based, and
100%
nothing we
based.
say is neither
Now-
true nor false.
Yeah. Also true.
But before we get too deep in the weeds here, I mean,
Can we talk about our struggle?
We got
on the
excited,
way to Dave's
and
house?
we got to do
Oh,
daily
my God,
ramblings,
yeah.
project updates. Let's.
Well, that too, but I wanted to go over both, Will, and Dave's struggle getting to Dave's house today
Yeah.
with people.
With
not
it
being
was
able
like
to function.
It was like one single person.
No, we focused on the one person that was the biggest problem, but I bet there were others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike. You go ahead
don't
and
know.
start.
It's just,
no, actually, I'll start because they were in front of me.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, we're at
So,
your house. So.
let's talk about left lane drivers.
just left lane etiquette.
Yeah, if I'm on your ass and I'm going a faster speed, get out of my way.
If you're in the left lane and no one's in front of you, you're in the wrong lane.
Yes, please get over. I agree.
There's no reason to be there.
You mean no one's?
No, there
right
was
lane?
absolutely no one in front of this guy, and I was
well,
like,
yeah, if you're not mid pass, but like if
Yeah.
no one's in front of you, and like you have the opportunity, like there's never a full blockade on the right.
I mean, I'm sure we all do it. If there's someone there and they're not supposed to be there, you inch up a little bit closer and hope they notice you.
I do the
and then
wiggle.
when they,
The
yeah,
left,
I'll
never
do
the
the
right.
I did that too, and then like you get up, and when they don't notice you're right behind them, you kind of like move over to the left so you can look directly in their.
None of
side
these
view
strategies
mirrors.
have worked for me. You got to come up on them quick. That's the only
No.
thing that I think gets enough attention to make people move out of your way.
That's how you get the urgent move over.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're flying up behind them,
Zipper-
especially in
it's
something
the
that looks mean or aggressive,
Zipper merge
like
is
a
what
Crown
it's
Vic.
called.
yeah, Crown Vic, I'm sure does it. Like,
yeah,
Depends.
that'll work.
Yeah, actually,
It's not going to continue to work for much longer,
I
but
was thinking most of the shop cars, even if you come up quick and like you get on the brakes, like it looks
Well-
like it's nosediving behind somebody, they're moving over.
yeah.
Well, if they see you.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the only risk with that.
Right,
Some
that is
people
a
are
risk.
that oblivious.
And
but-
as someone who's not lived in Ohio for most of their life, it's less of a problem elsewhere, in my experience.
I agree with
yeah.
you because, well, 3 of us are not from Ohio.
Mm.
Right.
3
or
of the
people
4.
just drive significantly more aggressive, like in Connecticut.
Oh, for sure.
I would-
They're-
yeah, I
If
mean-
you're not
near
doing
New
80
York-
and a 55, you're going slow.
Yeah. No, but I get it. They're not. I'm not. I've heard that before from other people that people in Ohio don't know how to drive, and
I don't
I
even
mean-
know if this was a thing before, but it was one of you guys who called it, the
Ohio
Ohio
roadblock?
roadblock. Yeah.
Well, that yes, right near our exit, it seems to be like you go into ECS. It's either
Oh,
semis that are, what do they call it, like dating, where they're just like looking
Yeah.
at each other through the windows, just driving
Yeah.
the whole
Side
time.
by side, just
Side by
hanging
side
out.
cruising. No
Just
reason
talking
for
on their,
the 2 of them to be next to each other.
Yeah. The worst.
breaker, breaker.
The Ohio roadblock.
Yeah.
The Ohio roadblock. Or cars do it too.
Cars do it too.
They
Yeah.
just like don't.
It's
just
people that
don't
get
pay
stuck
attention.
in the left lane that become
Oh,
oblivious that
that's
they're
actually a
in the
good
left
question
lane.
for you, Dave.
boy.
Driver's tests in Ohio.
What about them?
How's
What
it
do
work?
they refer to as the left lane here? Is it a passing lane or the
Yeah,
high
it's a
speed
passing lane.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
I wasn't sure what they teach you.
I was more
I think-
implying like
I think that if it's a 2-lane, it's a 2-lane. The left lane is a passing lane if they're going both directions. If it's a 3-lane, there's a passing lane and then a high speed lane.
Well, the
But-
middle's supposed to be travel, and then the other one's getting on and off,
Right.
and then the left is the passing lane.
Right. So it's.
I was
I
just gonna say, do they just like automatically give you your licenses when you're 16 or
Wow.
I don't know.
what? Like you have to take a test, or
Yeah, you gotta take a test.
Seems like in general,
is it just a
people,
written test?
people just
No, you
have
gotta
a
take a road
real
test.
Okay.
lack of.
Do you guys not have to do that?
We did, but
Yeah.
it seems like here
That's
you
what
don't
I'm-
have to.
that's kinda
Yeah,
what I
no,
was
we had to.
implying.
Yeah.
There's an escalated lack of paying attention here. It seems like just in general. Just
You know
like,
what it is?
Maybe
Like
cars sold in
I could see
Ohio
that,
don't come
yeah.
with like rear view mirrors.
I'm thinking like we're Kevin and I are from New England essentially, and commutes are shorter in my opinion in New England, at least for me. it
all
was.
the states are smaller.
Yeah, the things are tied together. I
Maybe.
came from Rhode Island, so the commutes are definitely shorter.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, I think it's easier to zone out when you have an hour commute in Ohio than it is a 20-minute commute in Rhode Island. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. But like, yeah. But it's,
It's kind of spread
no-
out. So usually people have to go to like Hartford or
Yeah, that's
somewhere
true.
around there. So yeah, I think commutes are a pretty normal length there. I think my dad drove 20, 30 minutes every day to work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Probably
mine
about
was
30 minutes.
30, 40 minutes. But
Yeah, most things are in the middle of the state or towards New York City, like big businesses and stuff. So I don't know.
we just had
Yeah.
less long like highway runs.
Hmm.
It would seem like you'd have to like bounce off different highways more often.
Circumstantial.
Because here's like more grid setup than back in New England, where everything's set up from like old dirt roads for carts and horses or whatever. So things just
That's true.
wove
There
around.
are a lot more
whatever's in the way.
hills that make you go in different directions, but Yeah. I don't know. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Stay out of the left lane if you don't need it.
Moral of the story, we got here fired up.
Yeah, we got to hear all fired
Well,
up.
Yeah,
I could tell Mike was pissed.
Yeah,
because
when he
I was
passed you
pissed.
on the
I
way
was
to your
pissed
house.
because they
Yeah.
wouldn't move, and then I was gonna pass them, and then Mike was like, "No, I'm gonna pass both of you," and then I was like, "I'm passing."
Mike
this
was
one."
like,
yeah.
I wish
And-
my
and
exhaust
then-
was on the left.
and then that guy decided that he wanted to put his fucking blinker on. Excuse my language. Right when I was getting over to pass him, he was just like,
Every time.
"Yeah." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, you got to be assertive. That's
Yeah.
what I was. Yeah, I didn't think you were being quite assertive enough. I'm like, I can solve this problem. So I tried
Yeah.
to go around and give him the message.
I didn't
and
want to
he
be
pick up on it.
I didn't want to like full go. I was like
I'm
giving
not
him
worried
the
about
benefit of the doubt of moving, but yeah, he,
It
again,
was
Yeah,
too long for
It was
that.
too
Yeah.
late, though.
It was.
it's
It
too
was
long for
much
that.
too late.
I'm going to sum this up here and say PSA. Pay attention while you're driving.
Yeah.
Just pay attention. That's all.
Put
No,
your
no,
phone
don't-
down. No phones.
Yeah,
Oh,
just stop.
God.
Yeah, just look.
Only drive manual cars. Don't have time for phones.
Yeah.
It's as simple as just like watch where you're going and like be aware of who's around you.
Look in your mirrors sometimes.
Sometimes.
Just check.
I use my
Every once in a
mirrors
while,
so
just a little
much.
quick glance.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever don't like.
You
I
only
almost-
look behind you, never forward.
I look in my mirrors
Pretty.
like, just
Sometimes
as
I
much
catch
as
myself
do.
doing that, and I'm just like, wow. Whoa. What's
How am I still on the road?
Yeah.
Oh, windshield. Yeah, no, I don't. I use my mirrors frequently. I never don't use them. I don't know how people drive and not use them.
I don't know.
I guess when people just don't give a shit and they're like, well, whatever. I mean,
guess.
I would
It's
assume
just
that would be
in
the
your
only
own little world.
The only
you know?
mentality behind that would be, whatever.
It's just too easy to get into an accident.
So yeah,
Like,
this wraps back into autonomous driving.
Yeah, that's kind of what
People
we were
that are
thinking.
stuck in the left lane that won't
yeah,
move.
Some people need it. And it's bad.
I know.
So, Kevin,
I feel like
honestly,
an-
it might be a better place if like 90% of people had self-driving cars.
What
Oh my
what
God,
do you
yeah.
like? Really like intensify the driving test so that maybe you only have a license for
You have to have a
non-autonomous
pass?
vehicles.
Yeah.
Ooh, you
With
to
like a
qualify?
really kind of extensive like driver training thing.
Yeah, you have to stay in like one of two lanes on the highway, and the other two lanes are for like normal people that have like normal driving cars that can actually.
Well, that's
move
what I was
places
talking
quickly.
about with a separate infrastructure thing, but
No,
it's
I
like
mean, you
HOV lanes and like express lanes, things like that. But
Yeah.
I was saying more so like you have to pass like a little more rigorous of a test and like show that you have like comprehension skills
Yeah.
to be able to manually control your vehicle.
Right.
You have to qualify to actually
Yeah.
drive your car.
Right.
E-brake slide into a parallel parking spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, I support this endeavor.
Yeah.
Speaking
Make it
of, well, no, because you were saying which autonomous cars can do parallel parking now?
A
Lots
lot
of
of them.
A lot
Yeah.
of them, yeah.
Like I know,
I mean, I don't know. The only reason I don't know is because A, I can't afford them, and B, I've probably never
I don't
driven
know what's
one,
going to happen
but-
50 years from now. Nobody's going to know how to parallel park.
I don't,
Cars
I
just
think
gotta
I
do it
don't
the
think
Then the ship
parallel
boxes will
parking's
be able
gonna
to do it.
exist.
Yeah.
I think everyone's gonna be riding in like ride share cars. In
How
50
many?
Years.
How many
I want the
kids?
maglev trains.
How many kids getting their license
Those
now
would be sick.
Yeah.
are learning to drive manual?
0.
None.
Nope.
No new cars are manual.
Save the
Nope.
manuals. No, there's a couple.
No,
left.
actually, no. I know a few kids that are about 10 years younger than me that are still, they're like into cars, which is an exception because
Yeah.
then you kind of learn. But other than that, I don't really know a lot of people with.
Yeah, I guess it's been a big hit in car culture in the newer generations, from what I understand.
Yeah.
What?
Like, there's been a big drop off with the current
Yeah.
generation not having no interest in cars or driving or getting their license even. Like,
Well, cars are boring now. Well,
eh,
cars
yeah.
affordable to the young age are boring.
Right.
They don't get 300 ZXs and like other cool stuff.
I mean, I would argue that like unless you were into it, like cars that I could afford when I was younger, like weren't all that interesting. That's why you wanted to modify them.
Right.
True.
That's true.
I mean, that's why we work where we work and we modify what we do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I started with a Nissan Altima. That wasn't interesting. But
Yeah. Toyota Camry.
I still like
Talk
cars.
about this
Had a
episode.
1999
Didn't matter.
Chevy Tahoe.
I think we've talked about this
Well,
before.
that was a good one.
99.
Yeah, 99.
Hell ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was
Whoa, it
V8,
was.
yeah.
And I remember I was paying $20 to fill that gas tank my
Right, yeah.
fresh sophomore year of high school. When gas was still a reasonable price.
It was around like $2 back then.
It was like
Yeah.
$1.35, $1.40. It might have been more out by you, but it was like $1.35, $1.45 here.
This is
Sounds about
Midwest,
right,
That's
yeah.
true. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember paying around $2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember about $2 all through high school.
Oh,
and
do
then
we
it
want to talk
jumped
about
up.
all the vehicles that we've owned?
Oh, I won't remember.
My list isn't
that
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 long.
can be, that could no,
No, my list is also
that can
not
be
that
a
long.
different episode of
My sister
Milwaukee.
tried to get me to count south the other day, and I honestly, like, it took me way too long.
Well, I know I've
Kept
had at
forgetting
least
stuff.
8.
I never really had the
9
resources
cars.
growing up to like have a bunch of cars.
I
It
get
just
too
wasn't-
attached.
no.
I just don't
Yeah.
go through cars like that.
I
So-
No,
don't
me neither.
think I do either, but somehow it's like between 20 and 30 somehow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think mine's like maybe 10 or 12.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably closer to that range.
Yeah.
10 or 12 is about right.
Probably count mine on my fingers.
Mhm.
Yeah. But, yeah, no. 99 Chevy Tahoe was great. It was a riot.
Well, the point here is that you don't need a cool car to
Right.
be into cars, right?
It's true, you don't. I mean, you can do anything you like, you know. I mean, clearly that's very clear in the car scene that you don't need a certain car to be
Of
to
course.
have something that you want.
To at least be
I mean,
interested in it.
right,
People might
there's-
not be like, "Oh, wow, your car's amazing," but
right, and you might just be like,
you can still be interested in it. You
Right.
can still play with
I think
things.
this ties back to whatever episode we talked about. This is about being interested in it in general and like actually putting in the effort.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of kind of spark there.
Right.
Right, you have to. I mean,
Whether it becomes from your dad or your mom or whatever, or you have friends that are interested in it, like
Yep.
there's something that's got to start it. So, or you're just like a super weird dude and a trendsetter, and like I don't know,
maybe I don't.
you're the friend that gets
I
all
mean,
your other friends into it. I don't know.
Let's. So, the reason I was into cars is because both my parents were into cars when
Mhm.
they were young. Right, my dad and my mom both were Pontiac people, and they had Pontiacs growing up, all the way until I was born or whatever. My dad still got a '63 Le Mans, so that's the reason I'm into cars. I would assume.
Right? Yeah,
Like,
it's hard. It's always hard to pinpoint
Well, I mean,
exactly.
when
like-
you're around it your whole life, when I was.
you don't need to be around it.
Well,
Like,
no,
I
I'm just
wasn't around
speaking.
it.
I'm speaking from like my standpoint.
keep
right?
keep in mind. So keep in mind that our standpoint here is how are kids now going to get into cars when
Mhm.
autonomous vehicles are
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
20 years out, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, that I think is going to put a damper on it for sure. If our autonomous vehicles are out, like, you're not
Well-
going to modify something that drives for you.
I feel like all the generation, like all the
put like a
generations,
system
do
in
this.
it or something like
Yeah,
that.
I
I don't
guess.
know.
Well, no, we I feel like we all do this.
Shag
though.
carpet will probably come back.
Autonomous vehicles will be a whole different ball game for the generation that's growing up, that will be growing up with them. We have all done it, but all of the cars that we have done have been fairly similar, right? They're gas operated vehicles with motors and
And
other
internal
things.
combustion
Right,
stuff.
yeah. Right, so like
yeah.
even if the manufacturing is different or the brand of car is different, it's
Or
still
the type of like
Right.
power.
Right.
Well, yeah,
Electric.
Realistically,
Right,
yeah,
so-
we haven't had
so
a
with
powertrain
electric-
change in well over 100 years. Like,
Right.
It's just about
About 100.
Yeah, about
I'd say,
100,
Yeah,
like,
about 100 years.
internal combustion stuff
I mean,
hasn't
that's a
really changed that
long
much.
fucking
They've
time
Right.
gotten,
for any sort of technology, cars,
Yeah.
anything.
so
they've
like
gotten dramatically
that's
more
insane.
efficient. Don't get me wrong. There's been improvements, but
Yeah.
it's still the same.
It seems like they kind of maxed it out, and not only that, but fossil fuels. So
Right.
there's a big push towards
Yeah.
other
I don't know
stuff.
if, I don't know if these cars are ever going to go away in our lifetime.
no, they're not. Well,
I,
just
don't
people-
know, I
time,
wouldn't say in
no.
our lifetime, no.
Well, I remember seeing the thing like Clarkson said. He's like, if people are still into horses, that doesn't make sense for transportation. Like, it's the same thing.
Well, how many
as,
people
like,
use it
it's
for
a-
transportation?
it's
It's like a
It's a leisure.
It's a
item.
hobby.
It'll-
It becomes
it'll-
a hobby.
it'll-
That's the same
yeah.
thing what cars are going to always be to us. Is
But-
at least a hobby.
realistically, you can't take a horse to work still. So,
You could. It's going to take you a while.
Can you like legally
You
though?
can take a Bobcat
yeah,
too.
you
I
can.
think
I
the
thi-
progression of
Yeah, the
human
skid load, skid steer or
population
whatever.
is just not, that won't allow for horse travel.
That
At
that's kind of
least-
what I was
at least
getting
for
at.
us.
I'm not saying it's
You
a
know.
good idea, but
No.
if you had to and like you're close enough to work or something, like
If you live in Amish country, you can take your buggy.
yeah,
So-
exactly.
You
That's
could.
true.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying,
my
I don't think I
parents-
could physically get from my house to work right now on a horse.
You absolutely could. It'd take you forever because there's
Yeah,
no
it'd
way.
be like 4 hours.
Legally, I don't think so.
You can
You're
do
either
that,
on
it's-
private property or you're on like a roadway, which is not legal to do.
No,
It's a
are we
highway.
You
are
can
we
go on
eliminating highway like major roadways here?
Well, you
from
can't go on
horses?
highway. Interstates and stuff are obviously like way off limits.
Can
but,
you?
like
Like, well, yeah, but I mean, you can't just go on any road with a
Not
yeah,
with a
horse.
horse.
most side roads? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Why-
side
you
roads.
can ride a bicycle on any road.
Right.
Yeah.
Why
You can't ride a
Okay, I
bicycle
mean,
on
I
the
don't-
highway. That,
I just assumed.
Well, so
it
for
just seems
example,
like-
where my parents live,
how come I can't ride a
there's-
quad then?
there's an area out by us, like Middlefield is what it's called, and it's Amish country, right? So like everyone there travels by horse and buggy, or
Yeah.
most of the people that.
Oh yeah, no, I used to
You
live
know, so it's
15 minutes out of Lancaster, PA. So
right.
like
So
like hardcore Amish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there's exceptions, and there are certain progressions for certain groups of people that it doesn't allow for, but the people that have been doing it this entire time, it doesn't change anything for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
My fear was just that, like, the reason I brought that up, I guess, was because, like, could there ever be an instance where, because, I mean, I think this is realistic for our lifetime, that they say, you know, these roads you can only go on with full autonomous or,
Right.
like, semi-autonomous, level 4, whatever you want to call it, vehicles, and that now you cannot take your, like, manually, you know, in our terms, operated vehicle on this road
Human
to go
operated.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I
it
can
seems
see that being a
unlikely.
possibility, though, right?
Just from an infrastructure standpoint, though, like making a whole new one or revamping an entire
But-
highway
No,
so
no,
it's
but
so
hold-
different
it's
that
like
you can't
Easy
go on it.
Pass stuff,
But
right?
why though?
All of a sudden you can't go on certain roads with it unless you have an Easy Pass. So
Well, what happened to that? That quickly got eliminated, and now it's like bill by plate. They figured out a way
Yeah.
to get around it.
If
well, because they want your money.
here's another thing,
They
I don't
figured out a
think
way to get around it.
I don't think that'll happen, because if the autonomous vehicles can drive themselves, there's no reason why there shouldn't
Oh,
other
you can't
traffic
get
should-
tickets. Why
other
are they even
traffic
gonna
shouldn't be
enforce
allowed
it?
on the road. Because if
Sorry, that completely put me in a different zone. But like,
well,
if there's
let's get there.
if everyone's driving autonomous cars,
Right.
there's no need to enforce speeding tickets because they're all going to be regulated to something.
Can't get a DUI if you're not driving.
Right, that too. But like,
True.
But
Well,
I was thinking in
get a
terms of,
DUI
like,
on a horse.
I think
Yeah,
you
you
can get
can.
a DUI on a horse and,
And a
on
bicycle.
lawnmower and
Yeah.
a
And a
bicycle
bicycle, yeah.
and a scooter
I saw that
and
in
anything
college.
with wheels, essentially.
You have to drive all of those things.
right? Yeah, he's got a point.
Do you
there.
have to
That's
drive a
true.
horse because that's about the
Well,
same
no, you
equivalent
don't
of
drive
level
them.
5 that
You-
we're talking about here?
Yeah,
don't-
see, the
you don't-
horse is the gray area.
You
for
don't
me.
get a DUI riding a bus, riding a train.
No, it's public intoxication. Or something.
True.
Yeah, somebody else is driving.
Kevin has a good point though. If you're
Yeah.
riding and driving are two different things, even though
Right,
some of-
riding a horse.
right, you're riding a horse,
Still get a
but
DUI.
you still have to control the horse in a.
Right, the horse
You
doesn't
still have
drive
to
itself.
put in a destination for your autonomous car.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
gotta type it in faster or something. Like you're not gonna crash into
Type
places.
it in
'cause-
wrong.
Yeah, it's gonna bring you to the wrong place.
Typing
not-
it in wrong does no harm to anyone
I
else on the
understand.
road.
I understand.
The point of a DUI is danger of
You're endangering
putting others-
others.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of
But
which,
if the
don't
thing
do that.
does it itself,
Yeah, just
don't do that.
Just don't do that.
Yeah,
But
do not condone.
we're not
horse.
condoning that. We're just
That's why we
trying to
have
find
Uber
the,
and Lyft.
the gray area of where
Yeah, we're
autonomous vehicles
finding
are.
arguably poor examples here.
that's
Yeah.
our job, right?
Yeah.
Find
I don't
holes
know.
in
I feel
everything.
like this
Yeah.
is like we're taking it down to the low level
Well,
explanations of this.
I'm just
We're,
trying to, you know, somebody brought up the horse. That's really threw me off, the horse analogy.
Yeah.
Well,
Comparison.
okay.
I'm
so-
just saying in
so
terms of
hold on.
enthusiasts. That's why
Instead
I
of
brought that up,
horse,
but
think horse and buggy, right? You're not riding the horse, you're riding
doesn't
in the
matter
buggy.
if you're in the
You're still
buggy or on the
controlling
still
horse.
the same thing.
Yeah.
You're still in control. Yeah.
You're still telling the horse where to go. You're still telling the horse when to go and stop, turn, whatever.
So would
Yeah.
you say that
It
there's
follows-
maybe a speed in
But-
which it becomes dangerous? Like,
What do you mean?
I mean, like, who are you going to hurt if you're traveling
No,
a
it's the
mile
same-
an hour or less, aka walking speed?
I'm considering this more like, would you get a DUI in a rickshaw? Someone else is in control. If the car is in control, that's
no,
to someone else.
I don't think so.
But if
It's
there's
the same-
any,
you-
if
I
there
don't
is
think you would.
certain-
I don't
in
think you would.
certain
That's
states,
like
there
a
is
tax.
Well, here's
any
the thing. In
opportunity to
certain-
override,
In certain states now.
any opportunity, intentional or not.
That's the gray area of level
Right.
5, though. So
Well,
level 4, probably not. Level 5,
All right.
Back to what you were saying. There's states that allow the passengers to
Right.
consume alcohol.
That's true.
Why?
Delaware's
so
one of them.
I
so is
don't.
Connecticut.
I didn't know that. Yeah. So I don't. I feel like there's a lot of weird gray areas here that we're kind of just like.
Hey, these are the questions
we're
that need to be
finding
asked.
loopholes that, honestly don't matter. But someone's going to address it at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Huh.
Yeah.
It's for the government
Food
people to
for
figure out.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
I'm
Whether or
just
not
saying,
you
if
could be
they're-
drunk while your
they're not
autonomous
getting
car
people
drives you
speeding
home.
tickets in their autonomous car.
Unless,
You can still go out
unless
there
they're
in your
telling
normal-
them, unless they're telling the car to speed.
Well, it depends how
yeah, but
autonomous
then
the car
that's
is.
not
Are we
autonomous
talking?
anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you're telling. Well, you're
putting
if
have
the
a
car
knob up
is-
there
hold
for
on,
rate
hold on.
of travel.
There
and
wouldn't
it's
actually
cranked
be
up.
a speed limit, right?
You can't tell
Right.
me that.
Well, yeah, but there's going to be something that's deemed safe.
You can't tell me that the
Yeah,
person
but of
riding in
course-
the car can tell it where to go, and have that be autonomous, but they can't tell it how fast to go, and that's
Right.
not
Wait, would
autonomous?
it-
It's like a taxi.
hold-
You're telling
wait.
it where to go. You don't have control over the speed, I guess, unless you bribe
It's
the
the
guy.
number of
but-
variables.
Hold on,
I'm
though.
telling- it
Is
all comes
how-
down to that.
How autonomous is it? Because if it's autonomous enough to take you places, it should be autonomous enough to tell you what the speed limit is in that area and automatically adjust.
I don't
Sure.
think there's going to tell you any of that stuff. I don't think
No.
you're going to have any control over it whatsoever. It's
Well,
going to
wouldn't
be
that-
what it
wouldn't
is.
that
how
be
long it
technically-
takes
Google
to get
Maps
there.
already
Wouldn't
knows
that
what the
be
speed
level
limit
5
is
then?
everywhere.
Right, that's
Right?
what, yeah,
That'd
level
be like
5 would be
full.
that.
Okay.
Unless
Yeah,
you tell it the speed, which
Okay.
has to be an
No,
option.
that's
Yeah,
not level
that's-
5.
That's an option that honestly we would figure out for the thing. Like that's what the aftermarket's going to find out is a way to hack into the system and give you a little knob for like rate of travel, and then you can crank it to 11 and get there faster.
Did you see
11?
iRobot? Yeah. with Will Smith.
Yeah.
The thing like everything was autonomous, but his thing
Wait.
went like a million miles an hour because he was like a police officer.
Yeah.
Which movie?
iRobot.
I never saw that.
Not in a long
Really?
time. I remember
No.
that when it came out.
Is it good?
It's interesting. It talks about AI and
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
future related. You know, everything's level 5 in terms of vehicles, except for
Alright.
his thing, which
Maybe
he
I'll
Yeah,
I'll
like
give her a
robots
little
or-
watch.
Revenge and stuff.
overrode and manually controlled, which was like super illegal. So it was
Really?
cool. Yeah, just
Can you
kind of
imagine?
relevant.
Can you guys imagine if they were like, you can only drive these?
Can you imagine having to modify your car and the modification was actually putting in a steering wheel?
Oh, what? No. No.
I guess manual transmission's out of the equation then, huh?
Dude, I mean, it's kind of the same thing right now, though. If you think about it,
Yeah, right
Yeah.
now.
we're getting close in terms.
We're getting close
of
to
the
the
transmission.
death of the
Although
manual,
I have
but-
seen some companies are coming back. They're like, we're putting the manual transmission back in this because.
So this is another,
It's like an enthusiast sports car thing,
Yeah.
though. I mean, they're
Well, do you
targeting
think
a very
that's-
specific market at this point. And it's not
Do you
because the
think-
manual's
right.
better.
Do you think that our generation is the last generation that's actually going to appreciate manual cars for what they are?
I mean, even I think it's cumbersome sometimes, but
Well, yeah.
I disagree, but you get used to it and then it's over. But have you seen the newer stuff where they're doing electronically controlled manuals and all
Mhm.
these new things?
How
So it's a
does
manual. You
that
have a
work?
clutch pedal. You can
Mhm.
override it,
yeah.
and you can select gears. But it also does it on its own, so that
Hmm.
you're not actually engaging or disengaging a clutch.
I've not heard.
It's an electronic thing.
Yeah, what car is this?
I forget what it was. It was
It
in
sounds-
Toyota.
Can't afford it. But
Wild.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
it
it's
was like a
essentially
full-
a
it's
DSG,
like a
right?
little
Actually,
Nissan
that's kinda-
base thing or
that's
something.
kinda nice,
Like,
though.
was it
think
a,
about
was it a
it.
double clutch or is it a single clutch?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Doesn't matter. You're not really controlling it. It was like clutch by wire, so like it's not even real.
Essentially the same thing as a DSG, though.
Yeah, but you have a
But
pedal.
more control.
You have a physical pedal.
Yeah.
To control a DSG.
Kinda stupid.
sort of.
Weird.
Unnecessary, even.
Maybe. I don't know, but if it gets the enthusiasts back into it, like, all right, maybe.
The guy who's gonna enjoy that though is
Yeah,
that
no, that's fair.
Yeah. Well,
the-
hold on. We don't want to write anybody off as not being an enthusiast,
It's-
regardless of what they enjoy.
I should say
enjoy,
this.
But
I'd like to try it.
The unstallable manual. Easy there, killer.
It's like a comparison to like someone who likes a cell phone, but they want the Nokia. They want the manual
Right.
transmission. Okay, well you can do the same thing with the new thing by
You
using
can install
the new
Snake on new
technology.
phones. You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can install Snake on an iPhone 11.
They don't
I
come
like
with
this
a factory.
analogy, Kevin.
Whatever
This is a
it
good
is.
analogy. I like
I like
this.
this.
Okay, so if you can turn it on and off and it controls it the same way and it acts
But
the
it's
same
not as
way,
indestructible.
then
You can't bludgeon
Nothing
someone to
will
death
be.
with it.
I don't see a problem with that if they're still offering the option essentially.
But it's
I
not
agree.
the same. It's
It's
like,
not the same. I,
think-
agree with you, but if it's a step in the right direction
It's
to
like a-
saving it, then
It's like a best of both worlds situation.
Yeah.
You want your automatic when you want it? Here, you can have it. Just flip the switch, call it a day.
I
you
think
want
the
an impossible to stall manual. Here you go. Like
yeah.
that's fair. I mean, if technology allows that, I mean, I'm game.
I think the enthusiast base is going to change again. Look at our generation. It changed with our generation. Look at our parents' generation. But it's all based on what you have available.
EF5 versus carburetor.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
it's
all
all.
that changed,
It's all.
yeah.
It's all.
That's pretty
well,
much
no,
it.
it's all based of what you have available at that time.
what's available and cheap.
Correct,
That's
yeah.
honestly what drives the enthusiast is what can you get my hands on for
Right.
like a couple $100 that I can play with.
Right. And I don't know. I don't think the lifespan currently of electric cars is going to be long enough for that to be.
They're just never going to
viable.
get cheap. They're just going to be
they're
expensive
definitely
and then
gonna-
it's gonna
depreciate
be
and then
cheap,
break.
and then it's gonna break.
Yeah.
No,
And then
it's going to
not
get
gonna be-
superseded by technology. That's what makes it. It's beginning
Right,
to
it's
become
it's going to
obsolete
grow.
or close. That's
Right.
what the same as you don't buy an E30 now. It's,
I don't know, but you could
honestly, the
argue-
cruiser comforts are terrible. But
There's no wear items in brushless motors other than a couple bearings, and then it's this battery technology we're talking about.
Well,
So
the MOSFETs and stuff technically have a
Yeah.
wear life. So like the speed control side of things.
Well, I
or
mean,
how
what
they're
about
controlling
all the wires? Those wires that's a wear item.
them. No,
No,
not really.
but it's all
you don't think so?
repairable.
It's running an electrical current.
batteries
through
are
it.
the
It's
biggest
taking
wear.
some
the
sort-
battery's the big problem.
I don't know.
I do know.
I think it's.
Why?
I mean,
And the
what-
bearings
What
in
happens
those
when
motors
the
and
bearings in your internal combustion engine go? Okay, well,
Yeah, you
replace the bearings, or
Yeah.
you replace the engine, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Right.
You replace a component of that still makes
Do you
it.
think those components will be available for consumer purchase whenever
Absolutely.
Yeah, if they're making
Yeah,
them
because
now, you
they
can
have
make them
to.
later. There's no
Okay.
difference really.
There's an
The
aftermarket
aftermarket-
for internal combustion. There's going to be
Well, right.
aftermarket for that.
I'm talking electric vehicles or.
And
autonomous
honestly, I hope
vehicles.
ECS goes that way.
The aftermarket
Yeah.
isn't just going
The
to die.
aftermarket
No, I
as a
know.
whole is going to have to
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
figure
just,
out higher
I'm-
amperage things, higher cooling rates
Oh, yeah,
for
that-
when you
I'm-
do
I'm
bypass
sure-
those amperage ratings or something.
Yeah.
There's going
It's
to be
gonna
all
be a
kinds of
requirement.
people. I mean, it'll be no different
gonna
than
be all about
overclocking-
cooling.
Overclocking your PC, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you can overclock a PC. I bet you can overclock a Tesla if you
Sure.
really wanted to. If you spend enough.
But
There's
not
already
without
companies out
aftermarket
there.
support, right? You're not going to
Exactly.
be able to just
Right.
upload a new program or code or
Right.
whatever you want, tuner or
BitTorrent.
whatever you're going to end up
BitTorrent.
calling it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, LimeWire. Yeah, there's going to be consequences to that, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Like as with anything, nothing's
I think
free.
that the
No,
electric
yeah,
car
of
market's
course.
going to be huge in the motorsport world at some point.
I mean,
I don't-
it's getting there.
Right,
Formula
I
E is
mean,
dope.
Yeah, it is. It's
It is.
sick.
I wish they had more sponsorship dollars
Yeah.
because I think that would just start really drawing big crowds and everything.
Yeah.
The hard
Well,
part's
that-
the spectators.
but that's the problem- that's
what
the
drives
problem,
the
too.
money.
Well, that's what I'm
and
saying. The sponsorship dollars, henceforth,
Well,
spectators, big
the-
names, things like that. That's
It's just
kinda-
harder to watch because you don't get the noises we've grown up with. So
Yeah.
once you get past that,
Yeah, I don't know, but the noises can be cool.
they can be. I know. It's just it's too abstract at the moment. So
Well-
it's taking more time to catch on than honestly it should.
For sure.
So I think that, Formula E is great. I like it a lot. I've watched it. I don't think that is at a enthusiast-based consumer rate currently. But the people watching it that are young now, the people that are,
Sure.
10, 12, whatever, watching Formula E now, in 10 years, whenever that technology might be available at a low cost, that is when it's going to start getting.
Even looking at like something I used to do is Formula SAE.
Yeah.
That's collegiate competitive racing that went from almost 100% combustion engines when I started there
Yeah.
to having its own series with electric cars, and now I believe they're actually merging together,
Okay.
and they're running electric cars with combustion cars, whereas it was a separate series before.
I don't know.
So they've, like the school I went to, is putting a heavy concentration on their electric car,
Mhm.
and that's just the way the technology goes. Like those cars end up being faster. You can do some
Yeah.
wild torque vectoring stuff
Oh,
with
yeah.
wheels, having individual motors in each one. And how do you think the fastest record at Pikes Peak got set?
Right.
Electric motors,
Yep.
torque vectoring.
Yep.
So people know about that stuff.
It was a Volkswagen.
It's just
Just saying.
a heavily sponsored Volkswagen.
Yeah.
It's not cheap yet,
No.
but it's becoming more accessible.
I think the market is definitely there for enthusiast base. There's a lot there. I don't think that we can only guess on certain things because none of us really have experience with it a whole lot. So we haven't like really dove into it.
We're
No.
a different level of enthusiast too, though.
True.
We're the enthusiast playing with kind of the antiquated stuff that we think is cool, not necessarily the enthusiast at the like peak of technology all the time.
And
Right.
Because
those
honestly, I don't think
people-
we have the budget for
those
it.
people are
But-
out there.
Well,
too.
yeah,
Those
we never
people
had the
are out there.
opportunity, and I mean,
Oh yeah, there's
There is that enthusiast though. It's not us, but there is that enthusiast. So the trickle down will eventually get to
What's
Yeah.
that company
where we're
called? EV West?
Yeah, there's
Mhm.
and they have a competitor like nearby too.
Don't they
They're
have
doing some cool stuff.
Don't they do the drift car, the Formula D?
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know if it's Formula D, but like yeah, they had a drift electric E36. I
Oh,
thought.
I wanted to say it was an E36. Okay, yeah.
I think that's
yeah.
their road racing or hill climb car.
Maybe.
Well,
Isn't
they
that the
can
one
probably
took
do.
to
Oh, was
Hoonigan
that
when we were
Hoonigan?
playing
Yeah.
around?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I forget what they used it for
It
exactly.
actually
was-
might be dead and might
there
be in
was a
something else now,
car-
that drivetrain.
I'm
but-
sure, but
There was a car that tried to run in Formula D. I think some rules prevented them from actually running, or they had car problems. I'd have to bring it up specifically.
Maybe
Wow.
both.
yeah,
But I think
Both
at
are
one
very
point
likely.
they did run,
yeah.
and I don't know how they did, honestly. But It's
tricky one.
They're right there.
So, just to kind of loop into the middle category of this hybrid stuff, hybrid electric combustion engine things.
That's what I thought.
Do you think the market's ever going to go up on that for modification?
Sure, absolutely.
I don't see why
I mean,
not.
that's going to be the first
If
thing
you-
that's affordable.
Yeah, it's going to be more
if you can
affordable than a
combine
straight
two
electric
things,
car.
if you can combine both of those things, I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a gap that can be bridged with certain enthusiasts. With
I
that.
liked the thing that I like the most about it, not because it's more efficient in really anything, is the fact that there's just redundancy there.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
I
Well,
agree. That's
It's
what
the
I'm
same reason we
surprised-
own multiple cars. Like,
correct,
I mean,
correct me if I'm wrong. The new NSX or the newest NSX is that not a hybrid?
yeah, that's got to be a hybrid.
It's
yeah.
I think it's like the front wheels are driven electrically or something like that. So
Okay.
it's like a weird gray area of like.
Well, right. That's
Well,
what
there's a
I was
whole
just saying.
generation of
hybrid.
those cars, like the McLaren
There's
had
a lot
one,
of stuff.
Ferrari
Yeah.
had one.
Ferrari's
It's
one.
like a gray area of calling it a hybrid, though. You're not like, I don't know. What
Well,
I'm
what do you-
surprised
what
in
do
is
you
like the
cons-
long haul vehicles, like tractor trailers and stuff. Why is that not a hybrid? Like that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense to me to be a hybrid,
Yep.
like or to push that technology. Because right now the battery technology is not there for it.
Right.
So if you supplement that with internal combustion in a way that's efficient, that'd be what's up. Like honestly, our trucks, like if I'm towing the car somewhere, I'd be all for a hybrid,
A hybrid
Dodge pickup or whatever.
Hybrid
Like that'd
diesel.
be great.
yeah.
Get on the
Yeah.
highway, think and cruise at like a couple miles a gallon, but otherwise you can supplement torque and be awesome. Like
Yeah.
Oh
that'd
my,
be
yeah.
fantastic.
But you'd have, yeah.
That's where I think the Focus would make a lot of sense and kind of like transition the market around.
right.
Yeah, because honestly, I can't think of really one good obtainable hybrid that.
I mean, a
was
Yeah, like
Prius, but
I don't want a Prius. What's that good?
No.
What's that do for me?
I
got-
like the
funny
CRZ
story.
though. I
I
always
got-
liked the way those look.
I got-
like
I
that it was
agree.
like
That's
know.
true.
I got in a Prius one time. I was with my uncle, and he goes, "Hey,
I've
can
heard
you,
good
can, you,
things.
can you back that out of the driveway?" And I go, "Yeah. How do you turn it on?" And he goes, "It's on."
It's on.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
it's always on.
"What?" And he was like,
Always
"Yeah, just hit the
watching.
gas pedal." And I was like, "Is this a giant golf cart?"
It's like changing
Yes.
the oil in a
Oh, I
Prius.
backed
you
up.
change
I
the
was-
oil and you're like, well, you have to fire it up to get the oil into the filter and stuff. Like, you got to double foot it till the battery drains low enough to fire everything up. Like,
Oh, really?
There's got to be
Yeah.
some kind of
I'm
like
gonna-
service mode
not on
that
the
maybe a
earlier
dealership
ones.
would have or
Not
something.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's-
maybe a dealership
Yeah.
thing, but
I'm
like,
gonna butt in here and say I did confirm that there is a electric Camaro that ran an FD
nice.
Napoleon Motorsports.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Is it like wheel speed stuff, like control issues that kicked them out?
I
there's
I
no
don't remember
track to
specifically
control
what
it.
cut them out, but I think their first event that they were trying to get into, they were denied because of some safety regulation or something.
Well, they just couldn't class it.
Something weird
you know.
with the rules that said.
Well,
you
there's
can't
no
do it.
class. Like the powertrain stuff in FD is unlimited. That's what's
Oh,
amazing.
that's fair. It's just limited.
But like safety makes sense.
Your
like,
class sets your rules though, sort of, right? Because power sets your like
There's
tire
no-
limits and things like that, though, right?
no weight. I think it's just weight.
Weight
Power
only?
power has no. I don't think it has anything or didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what they've changed it to, but like the firewall restrictions or something like that with the batteries might have been a weird gray
Okay.
area that
Okay.
safety is an issue.
It was a safety issue,
Okay.
and it was specifically at Long Beach.
Oh well, there's a lot of walls
FD rookie Travis Reeder not able to drift at least this weekend. That was a while ago. I think earlier last year. I don't know.
Got to look into
There's
that.
some details
Yeah.
I'm reading through right now. It's something about fire codes.
I think the
Yeah.
other thing that was weird is like you're not allowed a traction control strategy or anything like that. But with electric motors, you kind of have to know wheel speed to some extent. So that in itself is kind of a traction control strategy.
Oh, actually, it was the track's inability to be able to handle an electric car fire.
Oh,
That's what I was getting ready to say, because like fire
That's
extinguishers and
scary.
things, like a lot of stuff can't put out those types of fires.
electrical
So,
fires are scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really hard to make stop.
I'm sure they've updated their policies since that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, probably. I would
Basically,
imagine.
like self-fueling fires.
Yeah, exactly. Like
How does that
wild.
work?
Like you burn the casing off a wire and it's still arcing, so it can still create heat
Oh,
because
yeah, it
you can't
can
get rid of
arc
the
off.
voltage. You're not
Yep.
getting rid of any of that. So
Unless you cut power completely, which
which is difficult when you have that many battery cells.
I was gonna say
especially
that, and then
that
you
and when
run into
everything is
oxidization
run
of
off that
different acids and
specific.
Yeah, never mind
chemicals
what's
and-
in the batteries.
yeah,
That's a whole
jeez.
nother.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that. I don't know what the noise is.
It's probably someone's cell phone. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Whatever.
It's receiving a text message. You hear that over like shitty radios and things that don't have well insulated
That noise
wires.
has gone away.
Yeah.
But like, remember that like early cell phones?
Oh,
You'd
yeah.
always get that.
Mhm.
Noise?
Yeah.
I
like
guess
your
that was
range.
more
Yeah.
goat, but
Sorry, I didn't mean
A little
to.
bit of goatee.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like really curious about the way that autonomous and electric cars are going to go. It's
I think it's gonna progress the same way that everything else has.
It's
just-
progressing
except for
quickly.
a lot faster.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I think that our technology now is insane compared. I mean, it's just technology in general is growing at such a rapid pace. There's no reason for us not to do it.
This reminds me of the guy in that Tesla that he had stripped out and he just brings it drag racing.
Oh,
around
yeah.
and just
Yeah.
stomps everyone.
Right.
No, it is kind of crazy
no,
though. I mean,
just
you
a
think
stock
about
Tesla. Like,
Yeah, but like that.
what are we at?
that's
30
such a-
years now. Like cars didn't have computers at all,
Right.
Yeah, it's fair.
and here we are on like borderline, semi-autonomous stuff. Like, holy shit!
Yeah, we went from not a lot
100
of
years
anything
of
to,
internal combustion engine to in the past 10 years doing like self-driving electric things.
which is terrifying to think about actually. If you
Well, yeah, but that's how it escalates.
well, it's not the way it's escalating; it's the rate at which it's escalating.
That's
is
how
terrifying.
Technology and like, think of phone technology.
Oh,
It's-
yeah,
it's
it's
more
just-
parallel to that than it is how the progression of internal combustion has been.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
good
I
point,
don't know.
Dave. Good point.
and yet here we are, playing with old stuff.
Yep. Old stuff.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
like a Moto 4 behind you,
What?
which is glorious, by the way.
It is true.
Yeah.
I am glad that I've
Just
purchased
a
this.
pause and a segue into project updates, daily ramblings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did kind of skip that. 'cause
Well,
we
we've
Totally
been
did. We got a
talking-
little excited.
I will
We got
say
excited.
we've been talking about autonomous vehicles for 48 minutes.
Wow.
Who knew?
And electric vehicles.
And some stuff.
We kind of
Yeah.
pushed
Oh,
those.
Just
two
a
together.
general.
We pushed
just
them
like
together.
that general.
Okay. Fully electric Moto 4.
Oh, it would
Ooh.
rip.
I
Honestly,
could get into
I'm
that.
totally in for that
I,
stuff.
I think an electric motorcycle would be my first dabble into an electric vehicle.
I've been kind of
well,
wanting
Harley-
to go to the
Harley-
Harley dealership and drive
test
one
drive
of
one of
those.
those?
They have.
They're so cool.
This is news to me.
You can buy
My
one.
concern with
Yeah.
those,
Wow.
It's out.
yeah, you can buy them. My
Yeah.
concern with those is, although motorcycle
And Harley of all companies.
Well, because they lost their demographic, they like screwed themselves completely.
They all
'cause
died?
They catered to like, yeah, honestly, they catered to
Oh,
like
no.
their aging
Some of our viewers
demographic.
aren't going to be happy
And
about
we just
that.
dropped down a little bit lower.
Yeah, but no, they did. There was a big like documentary about how Harley basically like screwed themselves by catering to that demographic that is aging rapidly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's why I pay attention to their stuff here and there. I don't own any motorcycles, but I'd like to at some point. But I've noticed that in the last 10 or 15 years, Harley has gone strictly from making like these 4 models to making like sport models and like a few other like in between models that are more appealing to like our generation, which is
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
they
trying
figured
to
out
dig
it's a
out of a
problem.
hole here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's
and like
and
honestly,
it's good for them.
Yeah,
It's
honestly, some of the
excellent.
stuff
Yeah.
that they're putting out, I'm like,
This is
I
what
like
they
this
needed.
a lot.
For
I would
sure.
really like to this would be cool.
And their stuff's getting a lot better. Like
Yeah.
some of their old stuff was pretty unreliable, and they're really.
Oh yeah, I
stepped
mean
that
Harley
up, but-
Harley was Harley because of the name. It wasn't the quality of Harley wasn't all that good back in the 70s and 80s. It was the gas hog of motorcycles. They
Well,
weren't reliable.
It's comparable to like
Kinda
the
common.
cosplay of motorcycles is kind of how. That's I heard a parallel about
See,
that.
just kick it down another notch. Huh?
Yeah, no, honestly, that's what the like Harley's been a parallel to
Sorry, Matt.
because like they sell more clothes than they do bikes.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
really?
yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but yeah.
They
Wait,
make more
in
money off that.
dollars or
Well,
I think
see-
it's in dollars. I don't know.
Maybe
This
even
is-
pinball
Well, here's why.
machines.
Think about the normal Harley guy. He's probably got 10 Harley shirts, right? He's got one bike, 10 shirts. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, never mind the
The
jacket,
10
and the
shirts
boots
are not
and
worth
the
one
stuff
bike.
and the helmet.
You know what I mean,
You know,
though. That's why
this
the
is
price.
driven by people that don't own
profit
bikes
margin.
that are
Right.
buying. We're talking dollars here.
Profit margin.
Okay,
not
we're just talking people that
quantities.
just want
Right.
Harley apparel for
Right.
Right.
Harley apparel. Got
Exactly.
it. The same people that wear Nirvana shirts that have no idea who they are.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess
the
it's
Smiley
the
with
same.
X's
Yeah.
for its eyes and stuff like that. Yeah, whatever.
But back to electric two-wheeled vehicles.
Yeah.
Like the electric dirt bikes seem like an amazing idea.
I do
Those
like
things seem
those.
to rip.
They can do like 80.
Doesn't Ducati have one also?
I don't know. I forget what there's.
There's
like
a
some of the
sport
earlier
bike out
ones,
there
but-
that I've seen cruising around a couple of years ago, actually.
Yeah.
It was the first time I saw one, and it was just...
Well, when did the Harley first?
I think it was the H2O, actually.
I remember I was a dude who did some motocross rider has a YouTube channel,
Uh,
and he's normally riding 4 strokes and 2 strokes, but he
is
hopped
that
on.
Hodges, maybe?
No, but
No?
that dude's an animal.
Yeah.
He hopped on an electric bike on one of the tracks in California or something like that, and he put the thing in like the 3 different modes, and like put it into animal mode and was ripping up everyone there. It was incredible, like just killing like 500 2-strokes and stuff.
Mhm.
Can you imagine getting whiskey
Absolutely
throttle on
insane.
an electric bike?
It's the same. Like you're not gonna shift up a gear or hit
mean,
a rev limiter, but
true.
Yeah.
you're gonna
At the
it's
same
gonna hurt.
time, well, yeah, so if you take gears out of the equation,
Yeah,
you're at a big advantage as far
it's
as
true.
when
Put
are
power
everything?
down.
waiting
Yeah.
for
I
those
think
automatic
that's- you
dirt
can
bikes, I
immediate
guess.
immediate power right now.
Those
I want all
DCT
of
dirt
it
bikes.
now.
That's what, he was overshooting a bunch of jumps first time out because he didn't have like the, usually it's just like
Yeah,
gear
top of
limiters.
third, that's
Yep,
what I
top of
need to
third,
be,
That's what I
'cause-
need to be in, but
Yeah,
like you don't
exactly.
have that. You're just pinned and then
Tracks are almost designed to be like right.
You almost
sized
need like the
around-
visual markers at that point because it's not like
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I know.
Not
Weird.
only going into cars, but like electric.
I have to be in it
motorsports.
at this point. and
Boy.
no sooner, no later.
Yeah,
right.
That's a big change in strategy. So
it really
that'll
is.
be
Well, you
interesting.
it's
I
from
would
general
You
human.
can order them off of Amazon.
You know,
those
I
electric
think
dirt bikes, and it's like have one
motorcycles-
delivered to you for like less than $2,000.
That's really the one
That'd be
motorsport that really hasn't been dabbling in electric anything. Just dirt bikes and super bikes.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe. I honestly haven't followed
in terms
it,
of
but
competition, yeah, but
electric dirt bikes have been out for a while.
yeah, they have.
Probably
Right.
4 or 5 years.
Okay,
and
but
they've
you
been
don't see
good.
you don't see them in any series.
I haven't watched anything in a long time. so.
At least I haven't seen anything. So
I haven't seen it. either,
I
but-
follow a couple guys on Instagram that hit like big jumps and do wild shit, but that's not necessarily electric bike driven. So
right. So like when are they gonna? Obviously their classes are very specific, like they're 450, 250, whatever it is, and you can only run certain engine sizes in certain classes. So are they gonna start mixing in like governed electric ones?
Amp
maybe?
hour
I don't-
batteries.
Like,
yeah, it depends
amps
on how
are,
long of a
like-
heat it is, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
They're faster,
Well,
so
we have Formula E, and now would you see? I don't know, we saw an article earlier. There was the first electric rally car
Mm-hmm.
going into
First
stage
all-electric
rally. Was that
Rally.
which
Hungary?
rally series was that?
Hungary. They said it was a rallycross. So I don't know if it was a
Oh.
full like.
rallycross is a little shorter, which is
Yeah.
probably
Okay.
a good way to
Does
dabble
anybody know
into
what
that.
car it
Formula
was?
D's dabbling in
It
it.
was
I'm gonna
something in
pull
Hungary,
it up on
so
your
I don't.
phone here.
There's electric cars and like 24-hour races and things like
Yeah.
that. So like it's in a lot of motorsports, but not necessarily anything I've seen personally in
Wow.
motocross or motorcycles in general. But I feel like that was kind of the first production cars or production vehicles to really come out was the motorcycle.
So Corsa,
I'm gonna look
I think it was a Corsa E. Does that
do
look
some
familiar?
research.
Mm-hmm.
Electric rally car.
That wasn't the
That's
one we
the
looked
one.
at early, was it?
I think so.
It was
Corsa
white and
E?
blue. I don't know. Maybe the
Maybe.
colors are just different.
I think it might just be the photo.
Sure.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, typing's hard.
I didn't know that was a thing.
A lot of yeah. So every
Well, I mean, I guess once you adapt it into normal driving, right?
So would
I mean,
you say
everything-
that? I mean, like, if you, like, kind of to circle back. I mean, being the enthusiasts we are into engine swaps and old things and all that other stuff. I mean, suppose you start finding, like a really kind of proven, solid, fully electric drivetrain and
It's like what
junkyards
EVA
and stuff
West
like
is
that.
doing.
Why
from
wouldn't
now.
you?
Yeah,
Right.
of
Why
course.
wouldn't
That's
you?
already happening.
You're getting more power. You're
Yeah,
getting
honestly, I think that's what is needed for us to get into it.
Sure.
Is
Oh,
once
yeah.
we get to the second, third-hand market, that's
Sort of,
the,
except for at work when Volkswagen has announced they're not developing internal combustion engines, or should I say gas engines anymore.
2040 or something like that.
2024.
Oh.
Like, just they're done developing. I'm not saying they're not going to produce them anymore, but they're not developing them anymore as of like in 2 years
Yeah.
from now.
Yeah.
So now's the time. We need to start like
I mean,
figuring
yeah,
this out. What
why
do we
would-
need to upgrade? Like,
Why would
how
you
do we
not,
make
though?
this cool?
If you went to a pull apart and you were
Yeah.
like, "There's a Tesla here with a full electric driveline,"
I'd find something
They
to
have
put that in.
That's
why would
a
you
thing
not?
now.
Why would
that's
you?
the thing. Except Tesla's
well-
very. That's another
Like
separate
scooping 'em up?
aspect. Well, no, Tesla doesn't support or give you any parts
Right.
Like you have to bring it to the dealer. They will fix it. They will not sell you parts separately, which is a whole big like current lawsuit about supporting a consumer product like that.
There are aftermarket like laws about how long they need to support vehicles.
How long, and you need to be able to sell things to the general public.
They can't essentially monopolize it. You can't make this an independent like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Alta Motors is the one I'm thinking of for dirt bikes, though.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they make some really cool stuff. And they
that's not what I was thinking.
This guy's hanging a wheelie for like ever, and it's incredible.
No, I'm gonna have to
Until the
look it up.
battery dies.
No, like he's doing what looks like 100 miles an hour in a wheelie. It's amazing.
Oof. Oh, you're watching it.
I'm watching it.
Oh, wow.
It's a
I'm watching a video right now.
Okay. Yeah, he's
All right. Well,
Just saying, some wild shit.
dug in. There's probably more in the electric vehicle.
Electric vehicle
conversation.
is coming. The dabbling into that is going to be a bigger factor sooner than autonomous vehicles.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I honestly think that once that gap is bridged between that and general, I think autonomous will be welcomed at some point.
Yeah, it's going to be
For
a simpler
convenience sake.
step once you can integrate things electrically. Be like if an electrically powered vehicle
Right.
is going to integrate
I mean,
better
it's
with
going to
that
be
type of
appealing
power
to
system.
98% of like people in the world. I
Right.
mean, everybody's got to go to work. Not everybody likes driving. It's
Right.
just
True.
And even
it's
if you do like
naturally gonna
driving,
take
like,
over.
say you're just commuting to work, like you can have your fun things on the weekend, like our old junk that we play with. But like if you're trying to just get to work,
Fun things every day, Mike.
I understand that.
All day, every day.
Yeah,
Race car to work.
yeah,
Yes.
dude, I entirely support that, but I realize why people don't do it.
Right.
Yeah,
It does mostly suck.
yeah, it mostly sucks.
Especially when you get stuck behind Mima or whoever on the way over to your buddy's house and you got a freaking, 700 horsepower race car and you're just stuck behind a slow person.
Honestly, I think that makes it better.
Well, when you do finally
That's
get the
what- that's
flyby, but
Yeah, that's better than being in the Dodge pickup on the way over here trying to pass them.
True.
But yeah, I think that's the extent of our knowledge here.
Yeah, let's cover
I
daily
think
ramblings.
kind of
'cause
tapped out. So yeah, let's do that.
All right.
We've already mixed it up. We're gonna do it at the end, I guess.
Why not?
Yeah, Dave, start with you because we're looking at your 4-wheeler behind you in
Yeah.
your garage.
Newly acquired Moto 4
So I don't
You
know.
got a week.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, it'll be done.
Brapple-Rama.
Yeah, it'll be done.
Bull Barn Palooza.
It should be done.
The name is
Now-
really
now,
transformed.
Here's the biggest thing. I need to not break it between when it gets fixed this weekend
Live in,
and
like,
next
downtown
weekend.
Akron. How are you gonna
Yeah,
break
do you
it?
know how incredibly hard these are to break?
We've been trying
Okay.
for like
Well,
a couple
so,
of years.
So just to recap, I bought a Moto 4. Everyone who listened to last episode knows this.
Yeah.
It needed a clutch. Clutch is done. The person who had it before me welded the shifter on to the shift shaft,
Yeah, that's
which
unfortunate.
needed to grind it off, which was a big pain in my ass. But luckily, the person who welded it on there was careful not to mar up all of the threads that were, or
Lucky.
the splines that were
Lucky
on. So it's got a shift lever on it now. It's like an Amazon cheapie, kind of get me by until I can find one that is OEM or fits properly. But new clutch, new carbons on. I mean, it was the guy said it hadn't ran however long. I had it running like the same day
Thanks, Kevin.
when I brought it
20
back.
minutes.
Yeah. Kevin said
20
20 minutes.
minutes.
Kevin's come back to me into it. I said 20 minutes. All right, fine. So it's currently sitting apart, just waiting on the gasket for the clutch cover, which should be here tomorrow, which means it'll be up and going. I'm curious to see. It probably needs a valve adjustment or something. It's still.
That takes less than 20 minutes.
Well, since you're here, you can show me how to
We'll
do
do
it.
that after this.
Yeah.
It's easy.
But it does smoke a little bit. It hasn't ran in however long, so it's like a little smoky, a little oily. I don't know if it's necessarily a head issue, but it could
Worst
be.
case, it's a $30 top end.
Right.
Right.
Which I'm not worried about.
Seriously.
Because it still runs drive, so it should be fine for the.
Right. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, I bet if the oil was thinned out from like a leaking float bowl or something
Yeah.
like that, where it kind of leaks some gas into there,
Yeah.
it'll smoke. So.
But other than that, I went and picked up some plastics for it that are apparently unobtainable for $25 from some guy like an hour from here.
Yeah, look at that nose panel.
Mm.
Did you
Yeah.
already drill holes in it?
I did drill holes in it.
Oh,
monster.
Dave.
I am a
what a
monster. I do not
monster.
care.
I see that.
Um,
I appreciate the ain't care, but you monster.
Yeah. But
Still
I
give you shit
I
for
threw
it.
I threw a shitty paint job on it because it was like gross. I just painted it black real
Yeah,
quick and
yeah.
threw a. I mean, the likelihood
Looks
of it
good from
getting
here.
ran into
Yeah,
a
whatever.
tree at some point
Yeah.
is
It's
probably
not a
high.
factory restoration. It's just
Yeah.
gonna get the shit beat out of it.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That was just why I'm like, I ain't care. There's no reason.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's you know, it seems to. I'm pleased with it. Kevin, thank you for scumbagging me into buying it.
You're welcome.
Nicely done.
I will say it was a blast for the first, I don't know, hour and a half we were riding it before the shift lever broke. But, you know, before the shift lever broke and we realized that it needs a
Still
clutch.
need a shift lever, Mike.
I know.
For next weekend.
Yep, I'll get it.
All right.
So, yeah, the one that I bought was like an Amazon cheap one, and I had to,
I don't know if you're gonna be able to
obviously, I
get
had
an
to
OEM one in
grind.
time.
I had to grind some stuff off of it to get it to shift where it needed to,
and
because
a
it
pair of
wasn't,
vice grips.
you know, set up the way it should be. But other than that, the crowd was outside. I haven't really touched it.
Do you have 2 VR6 cylinder heads up there?
I
Yes,
see that. Yeah,
I have a block sitting in the back room.
just getting ready for that
I
W12.
see, you have a look on your face like you're.
That's an additional cylinder head that you don't need unless you have a W16 kicking around or whatever.
No, I do not.
Or W12.
Well,
Math.
I have
Math is hard.
those. One of those is off the motor that's sitting in the back on the stand, and then one is just an extra one that I had. But those are for other project things. They're not good heads, really. They would need a decked a whole lot in order for them to be.
I
How
see
do you
some
know?
missing valves there.
Well, when I bent the valves when I jumped timing on the Corrado last fall, I pulled valves out of that one.
How do you
and
jump
put 'em-
timing in that?
Timing tension failed.
Oh,
They
upper
have some
timing
timing
tensioner.
chain issues.
okay.
For
It's
being
just
this
that
awesome
it's
holy grail of Volkswagen motors are not really.
That's
that good.
annoying that they can
No,
jump
they're
time.
good. It's just the tensioner was garbage.
I just wanted to strike a nerve there.
Yeah,
They're not that good.
they're all right.
They sound
They're
good.
good
It's
for-
just
They're
a
cool.
shame they don't
No,
make any
they're
power.
good.
They're cool.
They
They
were
just don't make
great
any
when they
power.
came out. Now they're. I mean, it's just like any other
Yeah.
old motor. It's not really.
Even that's the debatable
It's
statement.
a holy
but
grail of
whatever.
timing. You want to talk about that B7?
Oh yeah, you got
Oh,
all
yeah.
the chains. Yeah, well that's a great transition right
Yeah, that
into
was-
Kevin's
it was,
woes here.
I mean, I got it to start. I
Ooh.
read something online that said basically just hold the starter on for 5 seconds, and I don't know if
It's
that
like
just got stuff
heat
hot
up
enough
the
or whatever it
coil
was,
enough
but
to like actually engage it.
and then try it again. Boom, clicked right over, started.
Did it
Done.
run?
Yeah.
It must have gone on a flood clear or something like that.
I don't know, but whatever it is.
So
it
it's a
worked.
running car now.
Well, it didn't
Runs.
crank before, so he just
Does
held
it-
it long enough and eventually it cranked.
No, I
it's
held
a
it.
resync.
Hold it for a long time, let go, start again, and it cranked.
So yeah, some sort of synchronized thing.
Something.
Yeah.
That's
the
weird.
starter
Maybe
was
it's
like
like
an immobilizer
so-
Yeah,
synchronized thing, that seems
immobilizer.
like-
It
Maybe,
sounds
yeah.
like.
But it was the original key.
Does it run
Yeah,
well?
but if it died and it forgot or
Yeah,
something.
Maybe.
long
I
enough.
don't know.
But it
Anyway.
runs. How
Runs.
bad is the smoke?
It's not. It's not smoky at all. I didn't see any smoke coming
Oh,
out.
Run
I
it.
only, I only moved it to the lift, and I started pulling off the core support so I could fix one of the coolant leaks.
they're making
Ah.
weird noises.
It's in it like it's a lot of fan noise, but you know.
So
I
if
don't-
it sits, that's what also
Right.
common.
Yeah.
So what I plan on doing basically is taking off the core support and addressing there's like crossover pipe on the front of the engine that you can't get apart without at
Right.
least pulling the core support forward. But I had things already like off, and I was like, well, I might as well take it off and clean things up because there's like mud hornets or whatever those things like had built nests in
Oof.
there and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take it off. So
You might as well just tear the whole thing down.
the front of the engine's
No.
not pretty. It's like very untouched, but it's 12 years untouched.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things.
Now,
like
where was that car sitting? Where did you pick it up from?
sitting outside for about 4 months. I picked
Okay.
it up for most of the way to the Columbus from here.
Okay.
So
What's in an hour?
About an
hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
So it
close
was
to
just
an hour.
someone was just getting rid of it, or did you pick it up at an auction, or what? Or
No, the guy bought it for too much money, and then it started supposedly consuming oil. So I still don't know what the problem is with it yet. Half the
Right.
battle was just getting it, one, running, which I thought it needed a starter or something, and two, figuring out why it's consuming oil.
right?
So,
Okay.
and if it even is, I don't.
Yeah, you gotta get it to run longer than
Right.
that.
Right.
To
Yeah,
figure
the
that
brakes
out.
are all completely shot. One of them's the left rear is like pretty locked up, and
Oof.
so I got some. It's has some issues from just sitting in general.
Italy
It's gonna
stuff,
be
though.
it's
Little-
gonna be
Yeah,
a
it's
Good
great-
little
Great.
good little projects.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really really hot right now. So every time I do
Yeah,
anything out there, I'm
it's
just
not super
sweating
motivating.
so much. But it's on the lift, so
Sweat just thinking
we're
about
starting
it.
to disassemble things, and we'll at least fix that coolant leak so that when I put
Right.
it back together and go to find out what's really wrong with it, if it really needs an engine or not, I'll at least won't have to deal with coolant passing out everywhere and overheating.
Mm.
So
Huh?
other than that,
Drift car's good.
yeah, we're going out again this weekend. Next weekend, rather.
Yeah, not this week.
It is next weekend?
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
On Sunday?
Yep.
Right, okay, yeah. Up
Day
at
after the Pole Barn Palooza.
Midvale.
Midvale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guess
Not touching anything on that car.
Why would you? If it's good to go, it's good
Right.
to go.
Works. I am going to wire in a fan switch.
Just
Main
an override, yeah.
It's probably a good idea.
The Volvo fan's nice.
Do you know-
because it's ground switched, so I can just
Yeah,
interrupt
just
the
jam
wire.
a switch in there, it'd be great.
Right.
Yeah. Makes
have to
complete
do
sense
that.
with it being as hot as it has been outside, especially when you're going to be running it as hard as you're going to be running it at Midvale.
Finished detailing the 135. Did a ceramic coat on that. Other than that, I just plan on trying to drill out the jet and the race quad, see if it runs any better. Ordered a drill
Did you
bit
get an
kit
ETA for that?
No, I
Your
it's
drill
Amazon.
bit
It
set
should
with
be
your
here.
Amazon?
I might have been there today. I don't.
Oh boy.
We'll see. But
So
yeah,
race
sketchy
quad's-
things with race quad.
Is it going to be done by next weekend?
I mean, it
Something's gonna happen.
It's done. It's just not fast.
Is it?
right.
When's it going to be
works.
fast, Kevin?
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't.
Fast
know.
takes time, Dave.
It's true.
Fast
Believe
takes
me, I
time.
know.
And
I
money.
mean, it might be a giant disaster, and I might just go back to like the factory carb and call it a day. But
Yeah.
we'll see. So
Will has the fleet of Mazdas.
Well, given current circumstances, Mazdas are on hold, even though I do have the parts all here. But, given Pole 2OI and, Pole Barnapalooza, Brapporama is coming up in 2 weeks, attention is going to be shifted to that. Ordered a bunch of parts, front tire and tube for the XR80, a seat cushion, or a seat cover, I should say, for the ATC 90. And the Moto 4 is fine, but ordered those parts, so hopefully going to get all that delivered and some maintenance done on those things for that weekend. And I did pre-register for Midvale.
Ooh.
So
oh
I'm
wow.
coming.
Okay, I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
see that coming at all.
What was it, day before yesterday, swapped over a bunch of tires to the Style 32, so I took the snows off of it since, I don't know.
I did see you doing that.
Cool.
back
Probably
there.
going to get
Yeah.
retired from winter beater duty, and full drift car mode is incoming.
Wow.
So swapped
You
over
gonna
all
trail
those.
that bad, Larry, or are you just gonna wing it?
I'm undecided on that still. I'm thinking about it. The
It's like
U-Haul
$50 for the U-Haul.
the
So
U-Haul is it's cheap enough that I think I probably will.
As long as you got the thing to tow it with, that's fine. Like,
right.
I think the forecast is also going to play a role in that.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's going to be as spicy as it has been, I'm pretty sure that I'll do it because it's been running pretty warm. And also the amount of other maintenance that I can do before then is going
do you
to
have
play
a
a
fan
role
switch?
in that. I do. Yeah.
Oh.
Manual
it
fan
still gets
switch,
hot.
but it does still seem to like to get pretty
Those
spicy.
engines like the heat. That's what they're
I
designed
know,
to
but
do.
I
and
don't like it. So
I also
How
agree.
hot?
I've been fighting it on mine too. It's
How
real
hot?
bad. They run at 210 factory.
210 is factory.
Okay.
Yeah.
210 coolant tab?
What-
210
Coolant
oil
tab.
tab.
Cool as that.
Oh,
Coolant
okay.
tab.
What-
Which means oil temp.
What temperature do you get concerned at?
240.
Okay, I'd be concerned there. Also.
Yeah. So mine also got to 240 last week.
I was
Yeah.
concerned at 230. That's when I shut mine down.
My problem, so I have visibility, fortunately, because on the OBC you can get like thermostat temperature.
Right.
on
You
there,
have like pre
and then I have the walk
Pre-
away from
pre
the mic
and
there, but yeah.
post.
And then the gauge that I have is like the hot side of the radiator. So I know when that side's getting hot that there's no coming back. Like we're out of capacity. So
Right.
it is nice to kind of know that, and that does happen. I'm not really sure what the solution is. It might just need burped or something like that. Who knows? But I'm gonna check that just to be sure. Just giving an extra.
Yeah.
I just never have the patience to like really put in
mean,
like a decent amount of effort
The
into bleeding
trouble
cooling
is
systems.
that's an electrically controlled thermostat, so when you're off load, it's designed to run hot because it's more efficient.
Yeah.
And when it
closes the thermostat and
right
stuff.
when it goes under load, it heats the thermostat element so it opens sooner.
Mhm.
But on runs like that, like it doesn't know if you're in
and it
line
doesn't
or
have
not.
enough time
and
to
it-
compensate. It's too late. Like
Right.
So,
Can you do anything with like input?
nope.
No.
You can put the old style thermostat in it. and
Problem
live
is
with the
like
fault, but-
everything on those is PWM stuff, so you can't. Because I looked into that, I'm like, can I just like trick this thermostat into like either staying like opening when I want it to open or things like that? It's just doesn't seem to be easily doable. Also because you can't just change the thermostat because it's like, or the sensor because it's like part of the housing.
Right, yeah, as part of the elbow. So you have to like change the whole thing out to the earlier M60 style stuff. Then you can do things with it, but you're just gonna have to live with fault
Didn't
codes.
you try and do that? It isn't like
That's what's
the
in mine.
seal or bolt pattern or something different. Seal's
Yep,
different.
yeah, it doesn't.
Or both.
And that's currently why my car runs a little warm sometimes, because it's the double thermostat. So it has both the backside of the thermostat plugs a bypass port, so that's what circulates inside the engine, and at the same time that the other one opens to let fresh coolant in from the radiator. So when I spaced it out a little over a quarter of an inch to make my adapter from your style to my style,
Right.
it now is too far away, so it has to like technically overheat for that thermostat before it plugs the bypass port completely. So, whoops.
Yeah. Or
So-
at this point, if it's gonna be like full drift car in spicy summers, like just cut it out of the housing.
The
Or
sensor.
drill it out. No, the thermostat.
Oh yeah, but you have to plug that bypass port.
The bypass port is a problem.
Yeah, so you either need to like jam a freeze plug in there or something, which is doable.
Yeah.
But like you can't
There's
just
options. There's options.
yeah, basically most modern things you can't just delete the thermostat. People do that with LS stuff. Bad news bears. It overheats.
But the nice thing about it is they don't really seem detuned when they're cold. So
right, that's fine.
so when you trick it that way, I don't think that really hurts anything. But
it's just like it doesn't have time to circulate correctly.
yeah. So I think that's really all. I don't really got. It's just hot. It's hard to get a lot of stuff done. But
Yeah, it is hot. It's
Yeah.
spicy outside.
Michael.
I'm trying to fix my fueling issue on the drift car, so I was playing with some stuff last night on that. Basically, the thing vapor locked hard because the radiator blows across the top of the fuel cell where the lines come out, and the fuel pump pulls like 6 feet down the frame rail. So vacuum with really hot fuel, like in 95-degree heat, made it just like make bubbles in there and then die.
It's probably closer to 100 plus.
Oh yeah, never mind what it's coming out of the back of
Yeah,
the radiator
like
at.
ambient.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's 150 plus for sure.
Yeah.
But bad, runs bad. Kevin almost killed me because it died. So
It's a good thing because you didn't even get any pictures of it before
I
you
know.
went out and drove it.
yeah, I know we did this whole wide body thing. Got none of the video stuff for this whole video series. I took it out and like we could have just crinkled it up before anyone got to see it done.
Yeah.
So
That would have been a good intro to that series, though.
So, yeah.
Well, I did
I
all
built
this
a
stuff,
wide body and
but-
I ruined it.
we shot that like part of the last episode today. I was like, well, I ruined it before he got to see it nice because the paint's already bubbled everywhere.
I think it looks.
but-
You know, it was sitting on a turntable there, and I like looked at it for a second. I was like,
It's one of those cars.
It
I
looks
think it's going to be.
cool.
You have to see it in person. Like
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
really
if
do.
it-
seem
I don't
to
know if a
photograph
photo
well.
or a video. Well,
I
video
think it's
is gonna
because
be
it's
okay, but-
dark colored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was a lighter color
talked
and it
about
had
this.
some sort of decals
Yeah, it's definitely
on
because
it.
it's black. Like
Yeah.
if you did a
It's a
steel
vinyl
gray.
But I kind of like it the way it is because it's like almost like you see it. If you saw it, like if you were driving that home and you saw it on the highway, you'd have to double take in order to understand what was actually going on.
Yeah, people do double take. Like,
Yeah,
I
oh,
drove
yeah.
it around a little bit, and
People are like,
it's a weird thing.
well, first they hear it and they're like, oh, V8, and then they look and they're like,
Golf.
what? And then they're like, wait, it's
Yeah.
wide body too? Okay. Yeah, no, that's
But yeah, so I'm trying to make an internal fuel cell surge tank stuff that I'm trying to put together like cheaply. So
yeah.
it's been interesting. I have to do some junkyard runs for some little Venturi suction pump situations.
Ooh,
'cause
let me know if you want to go like this weekend. I think that
definitely-
Sunday is supposed to be pretty cool.
I'm down. yeah,
Yeah.
this weekend for sure.
Decided to go for the junkyard instead of buying the fancy radium piece.
The radium piece is like $90, and I can pull one out of the junkyard in a fuel cell for free and put it in my pocket. Like, they're not gonna know what the little elbow is. Like, it's this worthless.
Sponsored us.
No, not them.
No, yeah,
Different
pick and pull.
junkyard.
Pick
Oh
and
yeah,
pull
not
did.
pick and pull. We would.
Yeah,
never
no,
do
we
that
would
to
never
them.
do that
Yeah,
to them.
No. It was pulled
But
apart.
yeah,
We even got their name wrong.
well, yeah, I don't know. I could find something there that would work just as well. But
What are they going to charge
Currently-
you for? Like,
yeah, they're not
They
gonna,
wouldn't
it's
know.
It's a vacuum tee.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
My favorite thing with pull apart, I love them. They're great. I walked in there and pulled a transmission, and they were like, "Yeah, it's $115," and I was like, "Hell yeah!"
The prices are on point. For
Yeah, oh,
sure.
yeah.
For sure.
Definitely worth the extra 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it
one of
takes
these
to-
days we're gonna have like an LS pulling party, because why not,
Yeah,
It's one
I
for
mean-
everyone.
dude? Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
Dude,
plenty
cheap
sitting
enough.
there.
They're
Yeah.
not that easy to get out of what they came in, unfortunately. They're easy to put in other stuff, but they're not
When
that
you-
easy to get them out of their original home.
I disagree.
Well,
Okay.
It's not
There's
that
a lot
bad.
of junk in the way on most
sawzall and a grinding blade says else
Yeah.
otherwise.
Don't lay in with grinders anymore.
No grinders. Sawzalls work though.
Yeah, sawzalls
No
are still
grinders?
good, but no
So-
grinders.
so-
Sparkless only.
I could see why
Yeah,
grinders.
yeah, no torches, no grinders, and I get it. Cause
I do too.
Yeah,
It's a fire
fires.
hazard. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the last thing you want to do is.
I really gotta pee.
Yeah,
Oh,
same.
yeah.
I'm at the same boat. All
right, guys.
So see you
Well,
next week.
See you next week. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify. Check us out on CAD Cars on Instagram.
Lead us
follow-
feedback and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll
Please do.
figure
Message us, and even if you just want to say hey, do it. Our
tell us we
inbox has
suck.
been kind of sad,
Yep.
so like help us out a little bit. Give us some input on what you want to listen to.
Yeah, spark our fire. We
Yeah,
need, like,
spark
help.
our fire,
Yeah.
as Will would say it.
Mhm.
That is it for today's episode. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for next week when we will be done. Okay,
Done. Okay. Bye.
bye. Goodbye. Thanks.